be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. As Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside by themselves and said to them on the way, "Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death and hand him over to the Gentiles to be mocked, scourged, and crucified, and he will be raised on the third day." Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee approached Jesus with her sons and did him homage, wishing to ask him for something. He said to her, "What do you wish?" She answered him, "Command that these 2 sons of mine sit, one at your right and the other at your left in your kingdom." Jesus said in reply, "You do not know what you are asking. Can you drink the chalice that I am going to drink?" They said to him, "We can." He replied, "My chalice you will indeed drink, but to sit at my right and at my left, this is not mine to give, but is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard this, they became indignant at the 2 brothers. But Jesus summoned them and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and the great ones make their authority over them felt, but it shall not be so among you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you shall be your servant. Whoever wishes to be first among you shall be your slave. Just so the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." The Gospel of the Lord. Yeah, it's a passage of some length. Yeah, there are any number of things that are going on here. Of course, when Jesus says, he's going to Jerusalem, already in his disciples' minds, where he talks about the chief priests, it's like, we are going to topple the rule of the chief priests. This is just what the Messiah is going to do, as God's anointed sweeps into power in order to inaugurate and establish the kingdom of God. He's going to have to overturn not only the rule of the day, but also the people who are sharing and enacting authority, and the chief priests first and foremost, right? So this when he then this quick kind of probably whiplash effect, it's a turnaround to say, instead of talking about the chief priests being toppled, the chief priests will topple him. They will condemn him to death. And if that's not bad enough, right? The Messiah also, in going to Jerusalem to establish his authority over Israel and through Israel over the world, we see that he's going to be handed over to the Gentiles to be mocked and scourged and crucified. This is unreal stuff. I've been reading recently about crucifixion. Yeah, this is like my bedtime reading. Yeah, this is not good. The idea of it's very hard to talk about. People hanging by the side of the road in various states of decay, with various animals eating them, right? There's nothing. Whenever Jesus says pick up your cross or crucify, it's like we're just like, like I'm wearing a cross, like I'm wearing a cross around my neck, right? We don't have the same kind of the brutal, totally degrading execution that crucifixion was. Right, that he's going to be crucified. He's going to be the lowest of the low. This is unreal. There's no way they can understand this. Of course, they're grappling with it as he insists on the point. And then, of course, being raised on the third day. What does it mean? What does it mean? And they think, of course, Jesus is quite comfortable talking in picture language. Like, we're going to go fight the battle. It's going to seem like we're down low for some time, but then we're going to rise from the dead, right? He's appropriating resurrection language for himself, maybe. And so we're going to emerge victorious. Who knows, right? But whether I'm trying to do what I think St. Matthew is trying to do here by throwing the mother of James and John under the bus. It's like try to give some sense as to, she doesn't appear in the other accounts that recount this very same thing, right? She doesn't appear there. It's them. So it's pretty embarrassing for the apostles, I think, for Jesus to come out and say, I'm going to be crucified. And they're like, we want power. It's like there's a real disconnect there. I'm just saying that it might not be as disconnected as perhaps it seems, but it's there nonetheless. Is it embarrassing? I don't know if it's embarrassing. Certainly, if we wanted to build the apostles up as these heroes, right? They never get anything wrong and all the rest. Then of course that's embarrassing. And the leaders of the early church, right? See the leaders of the early church getting it so wrong. Right, the time when these accounts are not only being circulated but being written down, and these are the leaders of the early church, they're getting it so wrong. I mean, so there is something, I guess, a bit embarrassing about that. But for me, it's not embarrassing because, of course, they're giving me the mirror that I need to look deep into myself, or to have, rather than for me to look deep into myself, because I don't want to get into navel gazing. It's the opportunity, they provide us the opportunity to reflect on ourselves where God needs to do what he came to do, right? Where Jesus needs to do in me what he came to do. When he comes back at the end of this passage and says that the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many, he's giving his life as a ransom for me. Yeah, he's giving his life as a ransom for James and John, who are caught up in a bit of a, I don't know, power games or whatever, right? He's come to free them from their idolatry. He's come to free them from their lives being centered on something other than the true and living God. He has come to buy them back from their slavery to sin so that they can be themselves renewed image bearers, so that they can be the beings that God has always created them to be, so that they could live out God's mission in the world. That's what he's come to do. So there's no, I don't know, it's surprise, shock, the rest of the request. Of course, we know that James is going to die very early on in the history of the church, right? So, does he drink the cup? He drinks the cup. Does he sit at the right and the left? No, that's for criminals. Do you know? In God's plan, somehow, right? That's for two rebel criminals, two usurpers or whatever, and Jesus is right in the middle with them. Yeah, and the claims and the King of the Jews, it's perhaps there's more to be discussed there, but we have time. I'm gonna leave it for some other time. I think it's important for us to come back and say, okay, yeah, Jesus has come to pay that ransom, to buy us back, to redeem us, and to renew us as God's people. Yeah, and this is very significant for us. He did not come to be served, but to serve. He did not come to be served, but to serve. Now, what about us in our lives? We go, and this is the stuff for day-to-day living, the reflecting on day-to-day living. Yeah, are we here to be served, or are we here to serve? Yeah, and the question is here, right, as Jesus has his face set towards Jerusalem, as Jesus goes on his, paying the ransom pilgrimage, he's totally set on the idea that he is there not to get, but to give. But this is in our minds all the time. We're always thinking about what we can get, how we can be served. Does this serve me? I'm not going to do it. Does this right? Is this good for me? Or does I ask, is this good? Is this good for me? Is it right? How do I benefit from this? How do I, right? All the rest. No, this is not right. This is not the right question. Irrespective of the answer, I don't know what the answer is, but this is not the right question. The question is, right? What can I give? What can I give? That's how I become who God intends me to be. When I give. And when I give myself whole and entire to God in praise, where I pour myself out in his service. That's what my whole life is. a creature made in the image and likeness of God. That's what my mission is. That's what my life's meaning and purpose is. It's to do that. Yeah. So and now as we see Jesus again in this crucial part of his life, right? To see him, the Son of Man. Right? Jesus, God in the flesh, did not come to be served, but to serve. And he's not simply hanging out there as a counterexample. He's at the head of God's renewed Israel movement that will restore his entire creation. And we are his body. He's at our head. What he does, we do. That's what it comes down to, right? We're not. This is not a matter of our sitting back as spectators and watching Jesus go to his death and go, okay, yeah, I kind of see that. No, I'm not really sure. I couldn't really do. We're not the spectator class. We're in it with him. Rather, he's in it with us to renew us, to give us the strength that we need to follow him. And he's giving it to us again today. And it's so significant to see. This is his mission, his life of mission, his meaning, his purpose. He's going to the death for God and for us, for this purpose. He came not to be served. Right? The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. Then it's ours to serve. It's ours to serve. It's ours to give and give and give and give. It's time to start living into the renewed humanity that was won for us at a cost, and that Jesus is now calling us into and equipping us to live. Yes, here and now in our day-to-day living, in the great things and in the small things, right? In all things, we have to go his way, the way of self-giving love, the way of not looking to get, but to give, the way of, not coming to be served, but to serve.